Hey guys, welcome back. This is bb6 speedhouse, and today's guest is my boy Brian from Team ProtoType. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Brian.
So, I've been in the cars since I was a young kid. I was that kid that was in the grocery store, sitting down and just looking at lowrider magazines. That's how it originally started for me. And then I remember drawing a Impala on my wall, and luckily I did it good enough to where my parents accepted it, right? So what ended up happening was I started getting into, in Mira Mesa, predominantly around the late 90s. I remember off of Black Mountain Road, they would meet up, and I didn't understand why all these fixed up cars were there, but it was new to me because I hadn't been playing like Japanese video games at that time.
How old were you?
I'd say it was like around my sophomore year, maybe like 15, 16 is when I first started noticing the import car culture come into San Diego.
Mira Mesa?
Yeah, Mira Mesa. Yeah, it was crazy. And that whole parking lot would be filled. So what I started doing was started reading Import Tuner magazine, Super Street at that time. And these are some of the cars that I would see driving around the neighborhood sometimes. You know, there's been a few from, my favorite car at that time was a white Acura Integra from Team Ixer. And that car is still around with the same owner.
Same owner? Is it a white Integra?
Yeah, but it doesn't have all the white interior anymore. He took off all the graphics from it. So, and that's pretty much how I got started into it. And then when I got my first actual car, I got a Celica. I was bagging groceries at that time at the commissary. My mom still works at the same commissary. She's in the bakery.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you get free bread all the time.
And sushi and all the
what grocery store?
It's called the commissary.
Scion Market?
No. She actually drives a Scion XB.
Oh, really?
Which is weird that you say that. Yeah. So
oh crap.
what ended up happening was I used to go with my friend in a red Del Sol, and it was the SI version, so it was a little bit more bells and whistles to it coming from the factory. But I would lay down across the back seat.
Are those still D series?
So some of them have B16s in them. His particular car, I remember him in the driver's seat, and then my friend Raul in the passenger seat, and I would lay across the back of him. We would go to Kearneyville Road to like the street races. Back then, it was off the grid. There's no takeover stuff.
Del Sols are small.
Yeah. So it's
actually, there's no back seats.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
It's like a mini Ferrari.
I was crunched up behind. They would move their seats all the way forward.
You being that tall?
Well, at that time, I was not as big as I am now. I was like, maybe like $170, you know? And that's how I pretty much got started into it.
That's the weight.
I knew.
But how tall were you?
Yeah, probably about the same height. So you got to figure that I was. I spent the whole night crammed up, but I loved the experience. Right?
Yeah.
It didn't matter to me because I got to go out with my friends, and it wasn't anything in the middle of a parking lot where people are still shopping with their kids, and then but things sometimes get bananas. And this new phase that I see is not right, in my opinion, because the stuff we used to do is off of the grid. Mm-hmm. We used to meet in the parking lot, be real subtle, and everybody knew where to go. There was no social media. Yeah. There was no flyers. Did
you have the same? Were you around your father?
Yeah, at that time, yes.
Did you experience the same thing that you're experiencing with your son now?
No, it was very frowned upon for me to be into cars. It was a waste of money.
Really?
Waste of time. And to me, I found it very intriguing how these people can take their ideas, put it together and make something creative, because back then it was conversions. Yes. You would do like different headlights, different taillights, amps underneath.
The tuning was different.
Yeah, before Fast and the Furious, I was already into cars, the first one. So I remember going to the movies. And
what year was that? Like 2001?
I believe. Yeah, actually it was 01. Because in 2002 is when me and my wife this is before we had our kids, and Jaden got into cars.
Jaden's like 12 years old right now?
Well,
He looked young as hell.
a little off.
By the way,
we handed him
Jaden's
the
his
keys
son.
at a very young age to the other GS. Yeah.
Shout out to Jaden that he's right next to us and he's filming us.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the reason why I got back into cars after taking a 6 to 7 year break.
That's good, man.
I used to have two SC400s. I swapped one at the house, so one JZ twin turbo motor into one of them, and then I put 130 shot of nitrous in my other one. So on a dyno, it gave me like an extra 103 horsepower.
Okay.
So I started my own shop, and then, like, I'm just not a good businessman. I just don't know how to charge people accordingly. Even now, I don't know how to do.
Especially when they're friends, right?
Yeah, and to me, I see that passion that some of these younger guys have, and they don't have the financial means to move forward and get something nice. And I like for people to have nice things, especially on the team. You know?
So for the people that don't know you, tell us about your shop. What is it that you handle in that shop? Is it for just your team? I know you mentioned Team ProtoType.
Yeah.
So most of the work you do there is for your team, or you actually have people that go and service their cars there, oil changes or...
So I've had a couple cars come in, and it's starting to be a repeated process.
I seen your videos, and
Thank you.
I seen a couple cars that you fixed there, right? Mm-hmm. I seen the I don't know. I don't know if I should mention it, but...
Yeah, IS300. We just finished up at M3. These are car... I mean, I've never done air suspension on an M3. This air suspension to me is new, but people think that, I put out the best quality work I feel I can do out of my garage. Exactly. But at the same time, I'm still learning. You have to understand that this import thing, if you're not doing it yourself, or you don't know anybody that does it, I'm the type of person where I want to try and put my hands on the vehicle first before I take it to a shop. Some people are different. They got deeper pockets than me. I don't have that luxury.
Is it like, I'm not saying you do bad work, because I seen your car and we took a few pictures right now.
There's nobody been on Instagram like, yo, you messed up my car.
You said that it's like getting a haircut at home and then not liking it and then going to a barbershop.
Yeah, and by all means, it's your car, it's your build. If you want to do that, but you know how much money you save with me. Now, it looks kind of strange when you take that money and give it to somewhere else just to do it twice over, and they say in return, this guy did a great job.
Yeah, if you mess up, it's your vehicle, right?
Yeah, they come to me because they want to save money.
If you're experienced with your car, you try it out. If you don't like it, then... Well, it's your car, right?
Yeah,
so and you practice with your vehicles.
Correct.
That's good. Yeah. You do a great job. I seen your work, and
I did air suspension on somebody else's car before I actually did mine, though.
Really?
So yeah. Luckily, people hand me the keys to their car, and it works out majority of the time. Now, the nitpicky people that just they want to save all kinds of money and then nit and pick at every single small thing. Yeah. To me, those type of people I really don't want to deal with anymore, and I kind of shut them off after a while. You know what I mean?
And don't get me wrong. Right now, a lot of people have a lot of sponsors, right? Mm-hmm. So most of their project cars are not free, right? Not free because I'm pretty sure they pay their share of money, but they depend a lot on sponsorships, right? Instead of like being old school, or like you mentioned, you do your own shit, you doing your own work, you try your own suspension. So people that pay, sometimes they pay and they think they're gonna get a deal on a sponsorship, right? So when they go to a store, they expect a sponsorship from the big companies, right? Especially if it's shops that do work, like for example, Auto Fashion. Shout out to Auto Fashion.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Auto Fashion. They gave me an opportunity when I first moved here. I didn't even have both of the GSs at that time.
Yeah, I've been to their garage and they have everything there.
Freddie, Elroy, and Kevin, much love to them. Freddie used to pick me up just to go to work over there, but it was so slow at that time because it was the pandemic, 2021, and I was there as a helper. He was paying me $20. I don't want to say how much, but it was so slow to the point where I couldn't financially. I had to move forward, and I went to John Hine Mazda, which is now closed down permanently. But
which Mazda?
John Hine in Mission Valley.
Oh,
yeah. So the kids didn't want to take over the business and this and that. Long story. I don't want to make it even longer than that. But Freddie Elroy and Kevin, shout out to them, because they let Jaden skateboard in the back while I was helping Elroy with customers' cars. And me and Freddie would have conversations for a very long time. And I was trying to figure out what car or platform I wanted next, because Jaden showed an interest in cars.
Yeah. How old was he?
17, maybe 16.
License, everything?
Permit. Yeah, and I didn't have either of the GSs. And to me, to look at the team now that we have and the 2 cars that we have, I'm super proud. Jaden's, he's got a body kit on the way that I wish I would have had. That, he's going to be a huge contender, I feel, in the VIP part of car shows.
Well,
right?
He has a good role model.
Thank you.
He's following your footsteps, You're probably one of his best car guy,
I have my degree in automotive, and I try as much as I can, because I don't know everything, but I try and pass that knowledge forward so he doesn't have to pay for it. Luckily, he's got a job right now where he's able to start doing things like changing tires, doing alignments eventually, right? These are things that I had to pay for with education in Texas. Yeah, so...
Is that where you grew up in Texas?
I grew up in Mary Mesa, and then me and my wife, she went to school out there to become a RN. And with the help of her parents, they watched our 2 kids when they were young. Okay. And then I got my degree in automotive. So
that's good.
Yeah, if people want to think that he doesn't know what he's doing and this and that, he's just like winging it. It's like, well, I have a background of import car culture stuff, but I have my degree in regular automotive. Performance tuning was a certificate of completion.
Okay, so if anybody wants a work done on their vehicle, where can they reach you? Mecca_858 on Instagram. We did have like a little garage page, but I can be honest with you, I'm a little picky and choosy with who I like to bring over to my house, because we do the work at our house. Right now, there's a car inside of my garage, a Y-body IS300. Shout out to Alonzo from Team ProtoType. Alonzo, what's up? Yeah, I'm sure you know who he is. So, a great guy. And the rest of the team, I'm super proud of what we put together last January. I left a team that is very, very successful in the car show. What team was this? Team Hybrid. Team Hybrid. I know them. Yeah. Really good people. I'm very good friends with I'm very good friends with a lot of them still, but I left that team because I didn't see the financial gain of giving a team dues or money, like every month. So they charge? Yeah. So it's not a that they charge. It's like a membership. It's like a monthly dues. And what do they do with that money? Well, I mean, I'm not questioning you or questioning them, right? But normally teams, when they do that, they save it and they use it towards the team, right? To buy more merchandise, to buy a canopy. Well, I'm not saying that they pocketed the money, but a lot of times teams invest that same money into their own teams, right? Well, yes, and maybe that was not the case. Well, did I see the financial? I had to step back and go, okay, if I'm investing this much into the team, which if you add it up over the certain amount of months, it's expensive. I've been in teams like that. It's expensive, and there's other teams that do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the team that we started, we don't charge anything. There's nothing mandatory. We do a lot of non-car related stuff. You can watch my page and you can check it out. I see your activity. You go to the mall. You go to everybody brings something. Yeah, a banner. Like you want a banner, it's $5. And one guy from the team, he's the vinyl guy, Andrew. Shout out to Andrew as well. Oh, that's my boy, Andrew. Yeah, Andrew. I didn't know he did vinyls. Yes. What? So now you know who to go through if you want some vinyl. And he'll tell you the price. I'm not going to set that for him. Wow. I know Andrew. Yeah, he does detail. He's detailing my cars. Impulse, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Shout out to him. He's like one of the day ones, I call him. They've been around since me and Jaden had this idea. You know what? What's his Instagram? Where can people find Andrew? Shoot. If you go on Impulse Garage or if you go on your phone, say for instance, it's Andrew IS350, something like that. I think so. Yeah, I don't. It's hard to remember because so I found it. Andrew. It's ANDREW.IS350. Yeah, and he does raps. He does vinyl. He does. The good thing about our team is that even one guy that I was working with last night to pull the motor out of Alonzo's car,
he used to work for AirTech, which it makes air suspension. So we have a lot of utility guys, and collectively as a group, we are able to luckily be successful in the car show stuff, but we also do car meets. We like to support charity stuff. And that's something that I didn't encounter at the last car club, is that,
of course,
you know, like, hey, you want to go to this, whatever, Dave & Buster's for D-Tech, you know, rest in paradise.
Rest in
oh my
peace.
God, dude, that guy was like on another level at GS300.
Yeah, he did all that window tinting and all that.
Yeah, and
Eclipse
he did
window tinting, right?
Yes, sir. And I was just washing my car, and I looked over at that building, and I said, you know, I said a little prayer to myself, and I just continued my day moving forward to here.
Okay, so with that being said, that, you know, we talk about your vehicle and all that. What shows have you gone and showed your work, your artwork? 'Cause to me, that shit is badass. I see it in the trunk, and it's fucking dope. You had those jellyfish floating in there and everything.
Yeah, just an idea from Disneyland.
So what shows? Oh, that's where you stole the idea from?
Kind of, yeah. I did have to look up how, you know, luckily they have stuff like YouTube. Back in the day, you just had to wing it, right?
Yeah. So what shows have you gone that you had got the opportunity to show off your car? Because I know you, but people don't know you, right?
Okay.
So tell us, what was the first show that you exhibit?
Ever done. Well, let's go with that one. Ever done.
Okay.
So before and I don't mean to be rude.
What year was this?
2002,
okay,
January
so
26th. This is like Ken Miyoshi days, like import show off. Before I got my 240 and got into drifting, and Irwindale's D1 before Formula D. So we used to have a CRX. We brought it to Del Mar Fairgrounds. They used to have all the convention halls, not just one, all of them. And in between, they would have vendors. Wow. They were huge shows back then.
I wish I was there.
Pan Auto would have the flyers. I've had a couple cars done by Thomas.
Shout out to Pan Auto.
Yeah.
I went to a couple shows actually when they had the closeout sale.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
Maybe. Great guy too. BJ was also my good.
BJ, that's my boy BJ.
Jabbar.
BJ, shout out to BJ.
Yeah, he's
BJ
good dude, man. Yeah, and I saw he was going through some health stuff. I hope he's getting past that.
He is actually. He's my good friend of mine. He helps out the car scene in TJ. So
nice.
Yeah, my boys in TJ, they host car shows. So BJ helps them judge the vehicles. So every time there's a show in Mexico, you best believe BJ's in there.
As he should, right?
He's a good guy, and he's doing better. He was having health problems.
Yeah.
So he's good. He's doing better, you know. So he's back to work, man.
So BJ and this guy Lamar Lindsay, like, we all had CRXs. So obviously, you know, back then they would split it up. This is not Honda first through third. It was like Honda CRX, whatever, first through third, and this and that. So me and my wife, we brought our first car to there. It did end. We didn't place or anything like that, but we did end up on a video, a DVD called Street Fury, and it was in there like 3 times on Blue Edition.
Old school DVDs.
So for you to see your car,
old school races, remember those Chula Vista races?
It was a mixture of different car culture stuff, events, actual events that you have to pay for, not just going to, you know, car meet or something like that. These are like actual huge events. So the same building that I was in 20 years prior, I got to enjoy with Jaden, and luckily at Spocom San Diego, and I did Anaheim as well, which is coming up this weekend. And shout out and good luck to anybody who is there, because that competition is fierce. You go for the entertainment, but you pay $70 and you want to go to the awards.
It was 100. I have 3 booth cars there. I'm gonna have a Mustang. Shout out to my boy Payaso Vegeta with the 5.0 Mustang. Badass. Really dope. And then I have Bolo. I'm pretty sure you heard of Bolo. You know Chata?
Bolo built?
Yeah, Chata. You know Chata?
I know Bolo.
So Bolo's one of them. And then I have Dizzy with the S2K.
Oh, yeah. Just turbocharged it.
Yep. So
with Ruko's son.
No,
I know,
Yeah, so
I try and be friendly with everybody.
Yeah, so those 3 people are going to be my booth cars. So, shout out to them and good luck for all 3 of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody who goes. And just to earn a sword is like, to me, locally, California, SoCal, NorCal, these are like, to me, the Super Bowl of like car builders. In my opinion, it's
New Jersey have some badass badass shows.
See, and I haven't been to the East Coast,
neither. I
right?
just seen videos.
Yeah. So luckily, me and Jaden in the same building last year that I showed at 20 years prior, we got third place best Lexus. It was Beefy, then SoCal Dana, and then us.
Yeah.
And when they called my name, I was like, no way. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So this year, I want to go to Vegas because that was Hot Import Nights Del Mar back then in 2002. So last year, I got to go in the same building and then get the Spocom sword, right?
Okay.
And then this year, I want to do the Hot Import Nights because they don't no longer do it here.
They're coming back?
They're not coming back, but they're going to Vegas. And to me, I feel that's a
when
goal.
Is it? I want to go. I haven't been to.
It's October 7th or 9th. I forget what the date is.
The last show I went to as a vendor, because I didn't take my prelude, it was at Hot Import Nights. I think it was back in 21. It was a little bit before the COVID hit hard.
Oh, okay.
And then after
everybody's
COVID,
walking around the car show with masks. Like, don't touch my car.
No, actually, there weren't no car shows.
Oh, yeah.
The last show that I went to before COVID was Spocom San Diego. I think I saw you there.
It was the only one I've ever done is the first one last year. So,
oh, really? When it rained?
No, it didn't rain. Last year it didn't rain, but maybe it did.
Yeah, at the end
it was kind of gloomy because we were inside most of the time. Jaden was sleeping. I kind of hanged out with him while he was sleeping by the cars.
For people that don't know, Spocom San Diego, they have the indoor section and they have the outdoor section. So you are telling me that you were inside?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so
right
for
in
the
the
people
middle.
that don't know,
luckily,
inside is where all the badass cars are at.
I didn't know that.
I think so.
I just, they told me where to go, and then I just parked.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. That's the only thing bad about that area is that there's no AC and it's hot as hell.
I heard about this.
Everybody's sweating
knew
balls.
about it. Yeah. And I didn't bring anything like a little portable mister, but going back to the car shows that I've done so far within the 3 years that we've had both and started building them together, and then eventually with the team that we have now, right? Mm-hmm. So Tuner Evo. And then I've also done Spocom, and then a bunch of different various ones. Fusion. I've been to every single one. I like what he's doing. He makes his own awards.
Red?
Makes multiple categories. Everybody fits in at that show, and it's such a great event. I love it. Yeah, it's like 300 cars, and he maxes out now.
And they're having a show pretty soon, I think.
November. And it's going to be the hangar.
Details? Hangar. Oh, at an airport strip, right? I saw that.
Yes, and I just saw that the registration is going to open up soon for that. So
best believe I'm going to be there. I've been to almost all his shows, and it's always a good turnout.
Yeah, Cali Creaming we've done, and then also lowrider shows. For some reason, my car, it just fits in, and luckily I've placed. Me and David Philippine King from Oceanside. Yeah, shout out to David, man.
I've been wanting to bring him because he started a new project. I'm pretty sure he already posted
BMW.
it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he already spilled the supers.
He's painted it since he's got it.
But I've been telling him, whenever you finish your project, that motherfucker better bring it here first.
Yeah, and then he's got a cool companion he brings all the time. Arlo is super cool. Little corgi. So
he has two of them, right?
No, just one, I believe. I don't know. I just know that he has Arlo.
Okay.
But auto fashion I've done with Kiyoki, the guy with the koi fish in his trunk. That mad love to Kiyoki, man. That guy is, you see somebody on Instagram and then you perceive a certain character, or like you think they're a certain way, but Kiyoki is 110% a brother to anybody.
Yeah.
And a very, very loyal dude.
Shout out to Kiyoki.
Yeah, absolutely. From Vegas. So I'm planning on going to Hot Import Nights, and hopefully we show together. Last time I went out there, we did the Great Taco Festival together. And he took second for VIP, and then luckily my car did well.
So there was a Taco Fest event, and there was a car show at the same time.
And there's like midget wrestling, dude.
What?
Yeah, you got to go. Yeah,
Vegas is crazy. I've been to Vegas a couple times. One of the shows I went to was Gearhead Society, and the heat was horrible, bro. You go to Vegas, you gotta stay indoor.
Yeah.
If you want to have fun, you stay indoor.
I haven't been to an indoor show out there, but I have been to one show in Vegas, and I had a great time, but the weekend just ended too quickly. Like if you go there on a Friday and you end on a Sunday, you're not having a good time if you have a car show.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
I'm sorry to say, but you just turn around and come back. I like to enjoy myself for a little bit, at least
me
in
too.
Vegas. So
I got super drunk the one time I went.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. And then actually at the show I was dying, bro. If it wasn't for my little brother who helped me outside, shout out to my brother Simon. He helped me hustle, right? And I was just twitching. I was like, ugh. And then I had another friend that kept buying me drinks. So I think the alcohol helped me.
Like a binge the whole week.
The alcohol helped me like come back to life or something.
Yeah.
But I don't drink no more.
You got
back
like a
then
second
I was.
wind.
Exactly.
You're like, I'm ready to go again.
Yeah,
I'm
ready to party. So what is your future events? You said you were gonna take a break for a little bit, right?
Yeah, so I've never done a WECFest, or I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
People say Weekfest, and I call it WECFest.
I haven't done one of those yet.
WEK, and good show, good venue,
yeah,
top notch, bro.
That I was even planning on. If I don't make it this time, there's a guy Anthony from we've expanded out with chapters. There's Anthony. Up in NorCal. Okay. So I might do the San Jose one, but I really want to do one in SoCal.
Okay. I'm going to say this. You think your car will be capable or it'll have the level of being in there? Okay, you know how the quality is, right?
Yeah.
So how do you judge yourself to go to that event?
I get surprised every time that me and Jaden, and the team, but mostly me and Jaden, because we're the one mostly putting our hands on the vehicles, right? Okay. And not a shop. So for you to ask me that question, I don't know. Beefy, when I was with Team Hybrid, and he's back with Team Hybrid, much love to Beefy. He's done me a huge solid. As soon as the first day we met in person was a huge solid, and that's for another story, another time.
I know the cat, pretty cool cat.
And he coached me on okay, this is how you attack.
His name matches his body.
Yeah.
He's beefy.
Right. Yeah. And congratulations to him. He's doing, moved, and he's got a great family now. So the thing about Beefy is he was my competition. We were on the same team because we both had Lexus, but he coached me on how to be more competitive. Right. So to me, if I bring the car out or whatever, like to me, I look at the engine bay and I'm like, okay, that's not enough, right?
Yeah.
I need to, for one, put the turbo kit that I have in my garage that I'm putting together. I need to put chrome and mirrors, and I need to make it more lowriderish because at the beginning of our podcast, right, I love lowriders. So I'm going to try and tie in as much as possible because I can't afford the engraving and all that stuff. And, I have my car in air suspension because I can't afford hydraulics, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just working with what I got and what budget I have, just like anybody else.
You mean you want to put hydraulics on this Lexus?
No, I'm going to keep it air suspension, but I just wanted to me, when I drive it and I use the air suspension, I feel like I have some type of connection to that first love for cars.
Yeah.
Right? So
tight.
And that's why I did the lowrider paint, and luckily I've got best paint at one show for the old paint job, and then the new one now, which I feel that there's a lot of imperfections. The third paint job that I'm going to do myself, and it's probably going to be some crazy white with like a crazy pearl on it with like,
oh cool,
maybe like some silver leaf. I have no idea, but it's going to look like a lowrider Euro. They used to have that magazine.
You want to give a shout out to the garage that give you the paint job?
Sure, yeah. I always try and tag them too. Mario Salazar is what it is on Instagram. It's Zooks. Earl Scheib on Main Street in National City is the one who's touched my car and cut it all up. And they finally, after two other shops, I gave them 2 deposits at different ones. They didn't touch it at all. I said, give me the die grinder. If you're afraid to cut it, I'll cut it for you. And then you just continue. And if you park my car next to my son's, most of that fabrication and metalwork is very subtle, but it's metal, not fiberglass. I have a wide body GS300 that's done like what I saw as far as the Japanese guys. Cut it up, pull it, reinforce it, have it carry over to the door. I want it to look like the Serial 9 kit, but I don't want fiberglass. So luckily, Ulterior Motives as well. Ulterior Motives, they put me on their page sometimes, and the front fenders are done by them. Okay,
well, we almost ready to wrap it up. You want to shout out your page where people can find you? Thanks for being here. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, simply .jxyy My page is Mecca_858. The reason I chose Mecca is because of Mary Mesa. That's where I grew up. It's not because I think I'm the Mecca of cars or anything like that, which I've heard. That's like
People have told you that?
I've heard it jokingly. And, one of the guys that said it is just one of my good
they joke around, they really mean it.
Well, it is what it is, but at the same time, at the end of the day, I don't think my car's any better than anybody else. But the person that I'm most competitive against is myself.
That's good. You have to keep up moving.
I haven't got best interior yet. I haven't got best trunk yet. I haven't got best engine bay yet. So these are the type of things.
You got best paint job.
Well, yeah, and best father-son build award, thankfully. And then for our first year as a team last January, to end the year off, we got a best team award.
No, and so, I wanted you to mention something that you mentioned me earlier. You said you went to a car show, and it was a father and son car show, right?
Belmont Park.
Let's see, okay. So tell me a little bit of that. Tell the people the story you told me, how your show turned out to be.
So we went, and just off of a whim, I saw it. As a matter of fact, my mom, it was the one that told me, Brian, here, I'm going to do her impersonation, right? Brian, you should really think about going to this car show over there. And but I think it's Belmont Park.
And then it was for fun.
Yeah.
Wow,
she sees the stuff that happens in the garage.
Dope.
And she's
just dope.
So we brought a few cars out. Luckily, Robert with the CRX, he came out and he got a Mesa Paint Award. But there was this lady that was filming with this camera, and I just jokingly, she was, and this guy Fred, he's in our group chat now, and he's about to start entering his Turbo Del Sol.
Ooh,
she was
nice.
filming his car.
Okay.
And what ended up happening was I just jokingly said, hey, that's a fancy camera. What are you shooting for the news? And she said, well, yes, I am. And it was Isabella Roberts. I didn't know who she was. I don't watch the news.
She was joking, huh?
Yeah, and then she goes, well, we're looking for fathers, grandfathers, sons, and then like, do you know anybody that's in the show right now? And I said, actually, my son, who was standing right next to me, we're walking around as a team, right? And we conversate with anybody, but yeah, I just said our cars are right there in the show together, and it's the same car, GS300s. And then she goes, really? Do you want? Where is it at? I says, actually, luckily, right next to the main strip by all the shops. And then we did the interview for CBS 8, which just happened recently on Father's Day.
So she worked for the newscast.
Yeah. She's the person who interviews you.
Wow, that's dope.
So magazines, at Fast Life, they don't have any of these magazines anymore. Mostly social media content, right? Mm-hmm. If that's your forte, that's your thing. But to me, to get your car in a hard like a paper, and luckily my car made it into Fast Life. And then at the end of the year, when we got the Best Crew Award, we got also a magazine little picture on there. These are the type of things, as well as Best Father-Son Build Award, that makes me hope that I can speak to whoever to get involved with their kids.
Yes.
And whatever, it doesn't even have to be cars. Whatever they're into, just try and support that.
Yeah, of course.
And I didn't have that growing up. Do you know what I mean? And then eventually when he found out I was good enough at what I do, he was like, let's get a Mustang, and then we could build it together, and then we could sell it and make a lot of money. And I'm like, that's not the reason why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
In the team stuff, I just want people to have nice things and pass it down to whoever. And if you get in a pinch, or if you're like really financially struggling, then just go ahead and do what you got to do to make the money that you need.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for being here. Thanks for taking the time. You brought your family, your son and your wife, and your
much love to my wife Maria and Sandra, really Jaden's older brother. He's more of like he's more of like an anime and chef type guy.
Ooh.
Luckily, Jaden.
So he does the cooking at home. He helps
correct.
Mom?
Yeah, he's making matter of fact, he's making carne asada tonight too. So when we get back, we should be eating
that sounds
pretty good.
My brother does the cooking at my mom's house, and he gets down.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm gonna close this down. You can find me in Instagram at bb6speedhouse, or you can find me on the website www.bb6speedhouse.com. HAUSE. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting me. Brian, thank you.
No, thank you for having me, and just to the whole team of Team ProtoType. You guys changed me and Jaden's life for sure. and for Jaden to get me back into cars, this is another goal or achievement that I didn't even see coming. So I appreciate you having us over here.
Thanks for taking the time, and we'll catch up later.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys.
See you on the next podcast.